I never thought it would happen, especially not at a family dinner. I had always felt like the black sheep, but I didn't expect my sister to make it official. Go find another table. Adopted kids aren't allowed, she said, as casually as if she were passing the salt. It hit me like a punch to the gut. I froze, not knowing how to react. Was this really happening? Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and tell us where you are listening. Your support means everything. Let me give you some context. I was adopted when I was just a baby. My parents had struggled with infertility for years, and after a lot of emotional toll, they decided to adopt me from a foster home. From the moment they brought me home, they were loving and supportive, but there was always this underlying feeling, a sense of otherness I couldn't shake. My sister, Lily, is 3 years older than me. Growing up, I always felt like she was the real child of the family. She had their eyes, their mannerisms, their everything. Meanwhile, I was the one who didn't look like anyone. Even though my parents treated me like their own, there was always a part of me that felt like I didn't belong. I could see it in the way Lily acted sometimes, like she was just a little bit more entitled to the family name than I was. We didn't have major fights growing up. It was more like small, subtle digs, comments about how I wasn't really part of the family, or how I should be grateful they took me in. Lily would never outright say it, but it was in the way she looked at me when my parents gave me attention, or when I was the one getting praise for something. In high school, I tried to get her to understand. I'd ask her why she always acted like I didn't matter, and she'd shrug it off, saying it was just sibling rivalry. But I knew, deep down, that it was something more than that. Fast forward to last night. It was supposed to be a casual family dinner, nothing out of the ordinary. We were celebrating my parents' wedding anniversary, and I had just finished a long week of work, so I was looking forward to some good food and light conversation. We all gathered at the dinner table, the same table we'd sat at for years. My parents at one end, Lily and her husband on the other, and me on the side. I took my seat, and everything felt normal for the first few minutes. We laughed, we joked, my mom talked about a trip they were planning. It was all good until Lily started talking about how her work was going. She mentioned some new promotions, her success, the latest gossip at her office. And in that moment, I felt that familiar twinge of discomfort. It wasn't that I wasn't happy for her, but I could tell by the way she glanced at me, then back at my parents, that she wanted me to know she was winning in life. In case I hadn't noticed, "Sounds like you're doing great," I said, trying to keep the conversation light. I wasn't in the mood for drama. "Yeah, well, not everyone has the right connections," she replied, her tone a little sharper than usual. My parents exchanged a quick glance but said nothing. I shrugged it off, thinking I was just imagining things. And then, everything came crashing down. Go find another table. Adopted kids aren't allowed. I don't think I heard it right at first. I blinked, waiting for someone to laugh, to say it was a joke. But no one did. My mom's face went pale, and my dad sat back in his chair, looking like he'd just been sucker punched. It was like time slowed down. I looked at Lily. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't even trying to play it off. She was serious. My heart dropped to my stomach. "Excuse me?" I asked, my voice shaking. "I said," she repeated, this time louder, "go find another table. Adopted kids aren't allowed at family dinners." I couldn't breathe. There was a tightness in my chest, like I was suffocating. My mind raced. Was she really saying this? My sister, who had grown up with me, who I'd always tried to understand. Was this the person I had to share a family with? My dad finally spoke up, his voice trembling. "Lily, what are you talking about?" But Lily wasn't done. "You heard me. Maybe it's time she understands that she doesn't belong here." The words hit like a slap. I felt a rush of hot tears threatening to spill. My parents were silent now, their faces unreadable. It felt like I was living in a nightmare. This wasn't the sister I had known. This was someone I didn't recognize. The rest of the evening was a blur. My parents tried to smooth things over, but the damage was already done. My mom's voice was shaking. My dad looked like he was holding back tears. I couldn't bring myself to say anything at first. I just sat there, numb. Lily, on the other hand, kept digging herself into a hole. Maybe it's time she faces the truth, she said, sounding more confident with every word. I'm the real daughter here. I'm the one who fits in. You're just someone they decided to take in. The words hit like a slap. I felt a rush of hot tears threatening to spill. My parents were silent now, their faces unreadable. It felt like I was living in a nightmare. This wasn't the sister I had known. This was someone I didn't recognize. Later that night, after everyone had gone home, I confronted Lily. My heart was pounding in my chest, but I needed to hear it from her. Why? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Why would you say something like that? Lily didn't immediately answer. She shifted uncomfortably, her arms crossed over her chest. Because I'm tired, okay? She finally snapped. Tired of pretending. You think it's easy to watch you get everything, to have everyone love you, when I'm just here. You get all the praise, all the attention, and I'm just the one who never measures up. I was stunned. You're jealous of me? Maybe, she muttered. Maybe I just don't feel like I belong either, but at least I have a right to be here. You'll never be one of us. You'll always be different. And then, something shifted in me. Lily, I said softly, you've never understood, have you? She looked at me, confused. I'm not the one who's been living a lie, I said. You think you belong here? You don't, and you never have. That night, for the first time in my life, I felt like I was finally standing on solid ground. I wasn't the outsider anymore. I didn't need to explain myself to anyone. I might have been adopted, but I was part of this family in every way that mattered. And Lily? Well, she's still struggling with that truth.